Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and back to my series Cravings, where I'm sharing with you quick and easy recipes that you can recreate at home. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to make honeycomb. I used to make honeycomb all the time because I used to add it to my cake decorations until I found out that they started to dissolve when you leave it in air. However, if it's left in an airtight container, it's a perfect snack that lasts basically forever because it's mainly sugar. I'm going to be making some plain and some chocolate dipped ones because I love the chocolate bar crunchy and I really miss it living here. I don't have access to it and I couldn't think of anything better, and so let's get straight into the recipe. So the most important thing when making honeycomb is to have all your ingredients and tin and everything in front of you because you can't walk away from it, and once the honeycomb is ready, it has to go straight into the tin. So I've got a square tin that is greased and lined at the ready. My ingredients ready weighed out so we can get straight into it. So I'm going to add to the pan my sugar and my golden syrup. And it's really important to use everything heat proof. So my spatula is heat proof because this gets very hot. And I'm going to start heating it to melt the sugar into the golden syrup. So it's a bit sticky at first, but when it starts heating up, it will get a lot easier to mix in. So you can start to see that it starts to move around a lot easier when the sugar starts to melt. So what you want to do is keep mixing it until it is a lot looser, and then you want to leave it to bubble. So I'm not quite there yet, so it's okay to keep mixing at this stage. And every now and then I'm cleaning the sugar with my spatula from the sides of the pan because I want all the sugar dissolved. So you can see now it's got a lot looser, so I'm just going to do one more clean around the sides of the pan. I'm going to clean off the spatula as much as possible. And then I'm going to turn up the heat and let it boil. And what I want is for this to turn a richer, darker amber color, which takes about 5 minutes. So this has been bubbling for 3 to 4 minutes, and you can see that it's kind of a darker, almost maple syrupy color. It does get darker in color. Now, this is the fun bit, but also quite alarming bit. We're going to add bicarbonate of soda, and it's going to completely volumize here, and then it has to go straight into the tin. So I've got my whisk at the ready. I'm going to pour in the bicarb. Whisk it in. There's the magic. Amazing. Turn off the heat and into the tin. And it continues to bubble even in the tin as well. Pour in as much as you can. Let's hope it doesn't overflow the tin. And we're going to leave that to set until it's completely hard. And I'm going to run this under hot water to clean. So as you can see, the honeycomb completely sinks once it's set. Now, mine just reached the edge of the tin, and if you're worried about any spillover, you can place this on a tray before you put the honeycomb in, just to avoid any spillage on your surface. I was just lucky enough to avoid that. So now I'm going to turn it out the tin, and because this is a loose bottomed one, I can hopefully push it out. And then remove the paper. And it can get stuck in corners, so just make sure that all the paper's removed. So obviously the honeycomb is really hard and I've got a little bit of paper still stuck, but I'm going to break it up first anyway, so then it'll be easier to get the paper out, and if I can't, I'll just remove those parts. So this is the kind of fun bit, but also messy part. We're going to use a rolling pin to break apart the honeycomb. So what I like to do is actually turn it upside down and use the rolling pin to break it on the base of the honeycomb like this. And then you can see the incredible cross-section of this honeycomb taking shape. So you can see it's quite a messy job, but look how incredible this honeycomb looks. Now it's totally up to you what you do with it next. Some people like to leave this in large chunks, put it in a bag and gift it or keep it for themselves. What I'm going to do is take some of the smaller chunks and cover them in chocolate because it resembles one of my favorite bars, which is a crunchy bar in England. And I just can't get enough of those. So I'm going to take out the best looking smaller pieces and get dipping in chocolate. Okay, so I've sorted out the honeycomb into larger pieces and smaller pieces, and I've got a bowl of melted dark chocolate. Like I said, I love the honeycomb in the dark chocolate, especially because it kind of cancels out the sweetness of the honeycomb. So to dip them, I'm just going to get a piece and drop it in the chocolate, and using a fork, just move the chocolate around the honeycomb until it's covered, and then take the piece out and let all the excess chocolate drip off the piece of honeycomb. So the chocolate kind of drops between the prongs in the fork, and then place it onto a piece of baking paper, which I've put on a plate. And I'll cover as many pieces as possible. Now the good thing about covering the honeycomb in chocolate is that you can expose them to air, because after time what happens, the honeycomb starts to dissolve because it's mainly sugar. So that's why it's either dipping them in chocolate or putting them into an airtight bag. So that's the dipped honeycomb. Now I'm just going to simply set this in the fridge until the chocolate is set. And then I've got a large airtight jar here, and I can simply keep the larger pieces of honeycomb in the jar. So just from one recipe, you get quite a lot of honeycomb. So these are the chocolate dipped ones, which I've been setting in the fridge. And these are my larger pieces that I've got in this jar, and I can just take when I want something sweet. Now I did have to take a few pieces away because the paper couldn't come out, but I think there's plenty to get me going. And I have to try one of the chocolate dipped ones because they just look so good. And because of the dark chocolate, it's gonna counterbalance the sweetness too. So let's go. Yeah, I can confirm it's delicious. I really like it with the dark chocolate because honeycomb is essentially just sugar. So the dark chocolate just balances that out. But either way, it's delicious. Don't forget, you can find the recipe in the description box below. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you soon with more tutorials and recipes.